Welcome back, everyone, to Chillin in the Foyer. This is part 2 of our part 4 series. Today we're going to be talking about church policy. We covered doctrine last time, and today it's policy, and then the next two will be counsel and culture. So church policy, what is it, and how is it different from doctrine, and why does it change? So policy is how the church organizes itself. It includes meeting schedules. Years and years ago, there was a very different meeting schedule than even when I grew up, where I understand they had Sunday school or different things on different days other than Sunday. Then they went to a 3-hour block, and just, probably 5, 6, 7 years ago, they switched to a 2-hour block. So that's something that's not doctrine. Missionary age, that's another thing. When I was a kid and I went, it was the age was 19 for young men. It's now 18. For young women, it was 21. It's now 19. Temple recommend procedures, such as the fact that we can now have a mobile recommend rather than a printed if we want. The questions in the temple recommend interview have changed. Organizational structure is another area. For example, the young men's presidency is no longer. Now the bishopric is the de facto young men's presidency. So policies are made prayerfully by church leaders, but they are not eternal, meaning they can change. And so let's talk about that. Why do they change? Well, the church is a global and growing church, and what works in one area or region might not work for another. Furthermore, what works in one era or decade or period of time may not work in another. So some of those things is we talked about what they are, but we have to understand one of the big things that has come up recently and fits maybe into policy here is the garment, right? There's new garments that are coming, sleeveless garments and other things, and this has caused some uproar a little bit within the church community, where some people are saying, well, why did I have sleeves growing up, and why should I have always been able to have sleeveless? And I don't know the answer to that, but what I know is that things change with time, right? And now I look at, and I serve my mission in the Philippines. It's very hot in the Philippines. And it's not even a fashion statement, but most people in the Philippines want to wear as little clothing as possible, which means, no sleeves in a lot of cases. So in that case, it's harder for them to wear their garments as would be instructed. When it's hot, they don't want to wear the sleeves, So anyway, it doesn't make us wrong or anyone wrong for having followed the way it was then, but also understand that policies change and there's reasons behind it. And I think that the problem is sometimes some people will get really upset about a policy change and wonder, why did I follow it all these years? Why did I do it? And now it's gone, it's changed. It's the same thing as rated R movies used to be in there, and they removed the rated R part because different parts of the world have different rating systems. Furthermore, there are, in my opinion, this isn't gospel, but in my opinion, there are some PG-13 movies that are worse than some rated R movies. And so now what is happening with this, and this can be proven really by the first strength of youth, which we'll cover in future episodes as well, but they've removed a lot of those things. So we're no longer a church that's the, law of Moses checkbox thing. Heavenly Father and Jesus Christ are showing us we trust you and we want you to make those decisions. And so we each know ourselves somewhat and pretty well, and so we need to make decisions for ourselves. And so in many cases, there might be a movie that is not okay for me to watch, but might be just fine for my neighbor to watch. It might affect me different than them, and I have to be able to recognize that within myself. So anyway, with the last minute or so we have here, let's talk about where we find policy for ourselves. There's the General Handbook, which is a really useful source and really the definitive source for church policy, specifically in section 38 there. But there is some doctrinal things in there, but there's a lot of policy and how we handle things within the church. It is continuously updated, and it covers everything from baptismal interviews to temple recommends, church discipline, youth programs, leadership roles, and more. It's reliable because it's written and maintained by the First Presidency and the Quorum of the 12. It's publicly available. You just go on your Gospel app and Gospel Library app, and there it is. and is considered binding policy unless replaced by newer revelation or guidance. You can find this on your Gospel Library app, like we said. Go to Handbooks and then General Handbook, you should be able to find by topic, which you see on the screen here. Also, you can follow the official newsroom and announcements. Those are one area, and then the Church Help Center. And once again, you can come back, and that's churchofjesuschrist.org/help. It offers clarification on practical policies. It's useful for understanding how church policies are applied in specific roles like bishop, youth leaders, temple workers, etc. And like I said, ChatGPT has been a great help for me. Do not rely on Reddit threads or Facebook posts or secondhand sources. Even well-meaning blog posts or YouTube videos can misstate or misunderstand current policies. That even goes for me. I can tell you what I think it is, but that's where it's incumbent on you to go look it up yourself. And that's really what my goal is. I can tell you, and I want to tell you kind of how I think through these things, but the most important thing is I want you to know you can go search for yourself. You can find and see how it applies to you. Now, always verify against the handbook or the church website the things you're learning. And remember this, policy change doesn't mean the gospel's unstable. It means it's living. It's growing, it's evolving, just like we are, because we're living, right? We grow, we evolve. We do believe in continuing revelation, and when you understand that, change doesn't shake you, it strengthens you. So if this helped you, or you think it helped anyone, please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And remember, as always, love God, love others. Appreciate you.